Good evening, everybody. This is our free Friday fireside chat coming to you from our TNT Life Mastery free community. And this topic today, we're going to be talking about tips to make your homeschooling life easier and better. And one of the challenges that especially a lot of parents face is they've never done this before. And because they haven't done it before, this is something that I've done, but because a lot of parents haven't done it before, there's a lot of angst, there's a lot of stress that goes along with it. And hey, the kids haven't done it either. It's new to them too. And a lot of kids get away with a lot of stuff in school. So when they come home, they start to do it with you and you hold them accountable, and all of a sudden they're not getting away with something that they got away with, or you're being too strict or you're being too lenient, and it puts them off. So on the call, we have a couple moms, and I actually have two veteran homeschoolers here. All right. For a lot of homeschool stuff, we've been homeschooling. I don't remember if we're in our 7th or 8th year. 5.5. It's not that much. Third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's like 7 years.
Oh, you're right, 7 years.
So one of the things that is lacking in our homeschool is being able to math properly, and I think they get that from me. But okay, so we have our Can't Math homeschoolers here, a couple of them, and Alana, welcome to the call as well. We have a lot of times the kids spend, one of the biggest things that I experienced in my homeschool life was I was driving the kids to school every day. I had them in private school for a while, and then they were going to public school for a while, and driving them there, dropping them off, trying to come back to work, working for a few hours. Oh, got to go get the kids again. Random schedules. Of course, all of you have heard of No School November. And we have so many little holidays and weird things and early dismissals. And a lot of times the kids were in school sometimes from, like 8 a.m. to 3:30. And I would ask them what they did all day. That's a lot of time to be in school, 7 hours. Shrugs. I don't know. We read storybooks today. We did this today. And one of the biggest shocks to me, one of the biggest shocks to me was how little time, once we started homeschooling, how little time they actually spent on school. Now, we have a lot of amazing public school teachers. I am friends with a lot of really amazing teachers. But you all went to school. You all remember teachers that probably shouldn't have been there. Teachers that probably should have chosen another job. Teachers that you hated going to. You also went to teachers that you couldn't wait for their class in the week. You couldn't wait to have them as a teacher. As parents, some of them you fought to get your kid in that homeroom, in that class, so they would be able to thrive. And yeah, one of the biggest things that I ran into was especially with the grade school. Both of these guys, hey guys, you have your, you guys have your audio on.
You should.
For like your grade school, how many hours would you spend a day for like 5th, 6th, 7th grade?
4 or 5.
Sounds
about accurate. 4 to 5.
Okay. And a lot of your days, how quickly did you get it done?
Quickest days are usually 3 hours. I think usually at the beginning of school, like at the beginning of the semester, we would be able to get it done in less than 1 hour. I think some days when it was like really late, start at 11, end at 11:30. That's the entire day's work. Yeah.
Yeah. And so with a lot of homeschooling, schooling at home, uh, there's differences there. Some people have a public school curriculum that they're doing, and a lot of people are kind of stuck with that right now. And if you're stuck with that right now, then that's what you got. Some people do a completely separate from public school curriculum that hits all the right topics and kind of accomplishes the same task. Those folks are doing school at home. And doing school at home is not necessarily homeschooling. Uh, for us, we are schooling a public school curriculum, but it's all online, 100% online. A little bit different for everybody, but we're going to talk about a few things that really help. And one of the big things that I had to do is adjust my schedule. Some kids learn better at different times of the day. And I know for some of our homeschool families here at TNT, they'll have the little ones doing school at one time and the middle school age doing it at a completely different one. Some parents also just say, I have time for that. You are all sitting at the table. You're all doing your work, and we're going to get that done because we have stuff to do. But adjust your schedule. You know, a lot of times kids learn better at different times. I know with my high schoolers, their brains don't start functioning until about 9 a.m., between 9 and 10 a.m. And that's standard. Yet a lot of high school will start really super early in the morning. The kids are up super late doing like homework. Actually, that was another big shock. Guys, indicate with your fingers giving numbers how many hours of homework you've done every night.
Since when?
Let's since junior high, middle school.
Technically, it's all homework. So
yeah, technically it's all homework. But after your regular classes, you know, a lot of kids go to school for that 6-7 hours. They come home and they do 5 or 6 hours of homework at home. So technically they're doing school 10 to 12 hours a day, and it's stressing them out. I think that's one of the really cool things about everybody experiencing the homeschool environment is that you're getting all the stuff done a lot easier and a lot faster with a lot less time spent on homework. Yeah, but that was a big shock. There's no homework. So adjust your schedule. Second one is choosing the right curriculum for your family. Sometimes the curriculum doesn't fit what you're doing. It doesn't fit your life. It's not challenging enough for your kid, or it's too hard. And what happens when something's too hard? The kids want to quit it. When they're being challenged at the right level, sure, there's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but choosing that right curriculum, if it's way too easy, they're going to blow right through it and get bored. And then they're not going to want to do it. If it's too hard, they're just simply not going to want to do it. Reviewing your goals is the next thing. Keeping kind of a timeline as the school year progresses, reviewing your goals and making the right adjustments. All right, so we're only spending 3 hours a day on school. You need to spend 4 hours all the next week. You need to work all of Friday. You need to spend Sunday afternoon doing 2 hours, something. And, you know, school doesn't necessarily have to be done all for some homeschool programs. You don't have to do it at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Yeah, a lot of the classes have live lessons that you have to be in. So some of the schooling, hey, if the kid wants to do their class at 7 p.m., why not? You know, so long as they're getting it done. So review your goals. Make sure they're on task to get things done. Make sure that they are attending, if they have live lessons to attend, make sure they're attending that and that they're participating in the discussion. I've already seen a lot of kids playing with Zoom, creating a live Zoom background of them. So it looks like they're nodding. It looks just like this, yet it's a moving background. And it looks, and they're not even watching. They're not even there. They're sleeping. They just sign on and lay in bed. So our kids are way more tech savvy than we are, and they've already found ways to circumvent it. And I think that's kind of funny. It's awesome. Be engaged. And that's the fourth thing. Really be engaged. For some of us as parents, the new math kind of nonsense that got proliferated over the last number of years. Nobody has time to draw 423 boxes. And can kids draw perfect little boxes, all uniform? No. And so they spread it all over a page, and then they try counting and they miscount, and then they get frustrated. If you've had success with, I'll say it, the right way of doing math, then show them your way of doing it. If you're counting in your head and you know how to do that, teach them that. Your kids, teachers are wonderful and they're trained to teach, but don't forget you're the parent. You need to parent. And if parenting is sharing things that you've learned in your lifetime, why not share educational stuff too? So participate in their work, see what they're doing, ask a lot of questions. And number 5 is embrace the change. I was terrified. I remember I was terrified to do the homeschool thing. And after the first couple weeks got done, I couldn't believe that it took me so long to do it. That it took me so long to get these guys in to homeschooling. I should have done it years before. We would have been so much farther along. But those are the top 5. Create some kids need a schedule, some kids don't. You know your kid better than anybody else. Create a daily schedule that works for them. I said there was 5, but I'm keeping going here. Set up a great learning environment for them. If you have little kids, little noisemakers that are making noise, chucking toys across their learning center, that's not good. They need to have an environment where it's for learning so they can relax, open their head, and not worry about getting hit by a stuffed animal or a piece of Lego being chucked at them. So make sure that their learning station, that they actually have a learning station. There's a lot of online resources for you. Guys, would you say YouTube is an amazing source for figuring things out as well?
Certain things.
Okay.
Kind of depends.
Nice. So take advantage of online resources. Whatever school you're in, I'm pretty certain they have links to all the resources you need. And while you're looking at what they're doing, too much of learning is open book, read book, memorize, regurgitate. And there's no absorption there. If you're learning science, then do science. There's some amazing science internet pages out there, things to do. If you're trying to learn about a certain culture or a certain area or geography, hey, go for a drive. If you're learning about rocks, I'm sure we can find some. Make it fun with activities, and instead of just sit in this chair, stop wiggling, open your book and read that section, and then tell me what it's about. All right. We want to make sure that we are making their learning a little more engaged. And also, it's something we actually talk about in our life mastery stuff, finding their north, what's making them tick, and passion projects. Think of things they want to work on, things that they're interested in doing, and you know, you're a parent, you should have a fair amount of life experience, and you're definitely smarter than your kids, hopefully. Uh, find things that can keep them engaged and help them with their own passion, with whatever they're passionate about, and look into it with them. So be engaged. All right. So enough of me. Let's jump on to, let's see, Alana, what tips have you had for making your homeschool experience better?
It's been different for each child. It definitely has not been a one size fits all. Riley definitely needs to make sure that his area is organized. He's terrible at staying organized. But when his desk is cleaned off and organized, he definitely functions better. So that is definitely something that I've been trying to work on with him. Let's see. The younger one, just staying out of his way, because if I make myself present, then he will constantly ask for help, even though he does not need it. And just making sure they each have a space separate from each other, because they can't be near each other. They have two different schedules and two different personalities, and it just doesn't work.
Nice. Yeah, that's actually great, great tips. You know, make sure they're separate, because again, some of them can't do work together at the same kitchen table. You know, there's a lot of other things. Missy, how about you?
Okay. Well, we don't have spots for them because we live in our trailer. So we actually are relocating just to give them extra like space, which is kind of hard, but it's important. So they'll have their own rooms to be able to like go to and do their work. And I feel like that'll help a lot because we also have a 3-year-old throwing toys at their heads. Yes, I guess like Alana was saying, they have to have their own space. And if they don't, then they're not going to succeed. And I have proof of that because my kids are not succeeding, but they will soon.
Cool. All righty. Let's, Christina, anything that you have to add? Any questions that you want to ask? Any trouble you're running into?
Well, we're doing the curriculum that we're doing. It's meant to be done together. So right now we have them in the same space and Lila's doing preschool and Daniel's doing second grade. So they're on kind of totally different pages. So I really like that idea of like actually giving them their own space, because I thought it would be really important for them to stay together, but I'm learning that it's not very easy to do them both at the same time. The problem with me though is then if I'm focusing on him, what am I doing with her to keep her occupied and not just sitting her in front of a TV or something? But definitely, I think that especially once we go through this moving process, giving them each their own space to do that might make it a little easier on me. And then let me look at my notes here. I think we've definitely done the like choosing different times, not doing it first thing in the morning. That was the way I thought it needed to be done. And they've taught me the ways that I think they should be done are definitely not the ways that they think it should be done. I guess my question I would have is, how do you guys keep your patience with them when you're feeling yourself very frustrated? Because that seems to be my biggest problem, is getting frustrated, losing patience. And then it's harder for me to direct them. Yeah.
No, for us, that's when we take a break. They take a break, I take a break, and we come back to it later. My older son he stresses himself out. He's doing distance learning, but he definitely stresses himself out and puts a lot of pressure on himself. And he will get into a place where it's almost like a tantrum. and I can't like reason with him when he's that way. And that's where I have to say, okay, you need to walk away, and I even tell him, like, you don't have to do the work in class. Just turn off your camera and listen. We can go back to it later. And then once it's kind of run its course, he can kind of rationalize it. But it's almost like he has to go through that process first. So I think definitely knowing that that's a good cue to kind of walk away from it and come back to it later works for us.
Let's see, Alexander and Derek, any input you have on tips to make it easier to do work? What makes you more effective at doing your work?
Taking a break. As long as it's not, hey, work for 30 minutes, break for 3 hours. I started setting myself timers. Here, 15-minute break. When this goes off, get back to it. And that's what I've been starting to do. Get up out of the chair, walk around a little bit, make a snack, whatever. And then when I get back to it, it's a little bit refreshing rather than sitting there looking at the same paragraph for an hour and a half, wondering what am I reading here.
Derek, anything more?
No, that's basically it.
Wow. So, quick story. You might look at your kids and think that they're doing their work. That's why I say you got to be there and engage with them. A few years ago, Alexander spent like 2 days looking at the same screen. You remember doing that?
Yeah.
Stoic. He just sat there, not doing the work, refusing to work. And I think your mom was the one that finally outed you on that. Like, he looks like he's working. Nope, he's just sitting there. Nothing's getting done. So cool. All right. Spotlight for everybody. There we go. Back to it. Yeah, the biggest things are take some breaks. I know I can work nonstop for hours and hours and hours. I won't eat. I don't take breaks. But I know definitely that I function better when I take a break and grab a snack. And if your legs are going numb because you're sitting too long, and most school is designed to have kids in neat little rows in little boxes doing certain things. And I think, for the better growth of the human, that the human needs to expand that, to be able to wiggle. I know there's a couple kids that got like specialty wiggle chairs for themselves. Well, they didn't get it for themselves. Parents got it for them. The thing is with having them sit on like a yoga ball or something, then they're a distraction. If they're in a group class, they become a distraction because they're going like this the whole time. So hopefully everybody got a few tips out of this. I know we went through a lot of stuff. Anybody have any other questions? No. Good. All right. Let's lock it off there. And thank you for all participating. And I'll put the replay up so folks can watch it and comment on it. All right. Have a great night. Bye-bye.